Hey guys, today I'm going to be fantasy casting The Hangman's Daughter by Oliver Potch. So I recently did a book review on the first 3 books in this series, so I'm not going to spend a hell of a lot of time detailing and giving a synopsis of what the series is about, but what you basically need to know about this series is that it takes place in this small Bavarian town in the mid-1600s, and it follows this local hangman named Jacob Kusel and his daughter Magdalena and the town physician Simon Fraunweiser. And yeah, together the 3 of them run around solving crime, I suppose. The first book in the series, The Hangman's Daughter, this one has something to do with the mysterious disappearance and murder of some local children. And then the second book in the series has something to do with a missing Templar treasure and some murders there. And then the third book has something to do with Jacob Kusel himself, that he is being framed for a murder. And yeah, there's definitely 2 more books in the series, but I have yet to get to those because they don't have English translations yet for the US. So I'm definitely anxiously awaiting the next 2 books in the series. But yeah, the purpose of this video, fantasy casting, this lovely series. I love these books. The books would make for a good movie series, I suppose, but I think the series could definitely benefit from like a TV series, like a crime a week sort of thing, you know, like Law and Order or CSI, you know, that sort of format. Because the good thing about the Hangman's Daughter series, you don't necessarily have to follow the books. If you want loyal adaptations, I suppose these would work well as movies, but in a TV format, I think this series, these characters would work really well in a TV format, and just, you know, having like little mini arcs throughout the season with various different murders and problems to solve, I suppose, if that makes sense. So yeah, a TV series adaptation of this wouldn't have to necessarily be loyal, and I don't think I would have a problem with that. So yeah, I only have 4 people I wanted to fantasy cast for this video, the first being Jacob Kusel, who is the Hangman. And you guys, I immediately fantasy cast Hugh Jackman in my head. I mean, seriously, I couldn't think of anybody else besides Hugh Jackman, especially his Van Helsing look. If you've seen Van Helsing, just something about his look in that, I immediately pictured him as Jacob Kusel for this series. The only problem with my fantasy cast of Hugh Jackman is a big star, a Hollywood star now. So the problem there is that you could get Hugh Jackman to do a movie franchise with this series, but I don't think you can do a TV series with Hugh Jackman. I think Hugh Jackman might be one of those actors with a slight ego that TV is beneath him, I hate to say. Maybe Hugh Jackman doesn't think that way. Maybe he wouldn't think that way. I don't know him. But yeah, I feel like Hugh Jackman would not do a TV series of The Hangman's Daughter, but he might possibly do movie adaptations. But either way, Hugh Jackman I think is just the perfect choice for Jacob Kusel. Manly, but can also be rough and gruff, I think, you know. So moving on to Jacob Kusel's daughter, Magdalena Kusel, I have fantasy cast Katie McGrath. Magdalena is described as being tall and kind of willowy in figure, I want to say, and plus she has long black hair. Katie McGrath, I mean, duh, obvious. just look at her. She just seems the embodiment of Magdalena for me. And I think this would be a good role for Katie McGrath, because Katie McGrath, I think, in a lot of past projects that she's done, she's been typecast as villainesses, and I think Katie McGrath really needs to kind of get out of that typecast, so I think this would be a good role for her, because Magdalena is definitely not a villain at all. But Magdalena, she does have a personality on her though. She's feisty, temperamental, just says whatever comes flying out of her mouth, you know. She's very opinionated. So I think Katie McGrath would do very perfectly with that. So moving on to my next fantasy cast, I have Simon Franweiser, who I would love to cast as Richard Madden. Robb Stark from Game of Thrones, you guys. Woo! Okay, let's get this out of the way. I had a very difficult time trying to cast Simon. Simon in the books is described as being good looking, but he's short. I think he's described as being about maybe 5 foot tall, maybe an inch or two taller than that. Like Magdalena is much taller than him. So yeah, I had a bit of difficulty trying to cast here because I just couldn't really think of short actors, I suppose. I know there's probably plenty out there, but I don't know. I had a difficult time either way. And yeah, Richard Madden, probably not an ideal choice because he's definitely taller than 5 foot. But he's still not like incredibly tall because I think he's only maybe about 5'10" anyway, I want to say. So yeah, he's still not like as tall as, like, say, Hugh Jackman, if Hugh Jackman was cast in this. And I just want to see Richard Madden in something, you guys. I mean, he's not really been in much of anything since Game of Thrones other than Cinderella. And I want to see him. I want to see more of him because he's good looking. Probably shallow of me, but oh well. And then my last fantasy casting I have is Johann Lechner, who I have cast as Stephen Moyer from True Blood fame. You guys, I've never seen True Blood, sorry to say. The only thing I've seen Stephen Moyer in, last fall, he was in The Bastard Executioner, and maybe that's why I kind of mentally cast him in this book series because of Bastard Executioner and kind of the similarity of roles, I suppose. But yeah, within the Hangman's Daughter, Johann Lechner, he is like the town clerk. He handles business within the town. He's kind of one of the top leading officials of the town, and he basically gives orders to Jacob Kussel, telling Jacob Kussel who to hang and who to torture and this and that. So yeah, I just thought Stephen Moyer would be a good choice for Johann Lechner. And I think that's it for my fantasy casting. For the Hangman's Daughter, it's kind of one of those book series that there's really not a lot of characters in the series. These 4 are kind of the main 4 that constantly pop up in the series. And then, I mean, there are other characters, but just other characters that don't really play big pivotal roles, or they're just in one book and that's it. So yeah, you guys, have you read The Hangman's Daughter? Would you like to see a TV series or movie adaptations for these books? Because I think they would be really good adaptations, possibly, hopefully. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like this video, you may like these other videos. Bye, guys.